we've had some great, how do I say, pastors or theologians on, and they had some great outlooks of the Christmas story and different beliefs, and we're going to get more into that, which has become a big, huge subject now. I mean, a lot of people, Glenn, are turning back to faith or something. They need to believe in something, because, as we all know, the country has. It's the fall of any great nation when they stop believing in, rules, commandments, faith, God, whether they had gods, in some of them, or in the Christian world, a lot of people, the majority of people, believe in God and his son, Jesus Christ. But you have to have some kind of good culture, some great foundations. And when you start losing all that, everybody starts to lose their mind. But the other thing I Glenn, as you look at this, because COVID-19 really did change everything. It wasn't much of the disease or the pandemic. I think they used it to change a new era. Because if you look back, think of way back in the Egyptian days, when they were building pyramids, and they were, the Romans then came along, and that era changed there. And then after the Romans, it was the cowboy, era. After the cowboy era, it was the, like we can go back to the medieval times, but after the cowboys, then you had what was next. Who the hell knows? Because I don't know history. I got kicked out of history class. But here's the thing.
Gangsters, 1920s. You had the bootleg. Yeah. You had Prohibition.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Great Depression. I mean, things change and evolve. And that's what's happening, is our world is evolving to something different. And it's right now, it's in the middle of evolving in chaos, right? So, yeah, the elections are all screwed up. Who's going to be running the country is all screwed up. Border people crossing the borders. But what's really happening is that is taking the attention off of everything that's really happening. See, because artificial intelligence is coming in. It's always been here, but they're pushing it faster and harder. And next thing you know, all these people that are fighting for this or protesting for this or doing this, they don't realize that there's going to be two classes of people. Like you see in the movies, you see you're very poor that live on the street, and it's a very advanced, colony. And then you have the very wealthy who live in these, run these colonies.
Yep.
I mean, we all thought the Jetsons.
You
Remember we used to watch that and think, oh man, that would be so great if you could, put something in the microwave or run on a treadmill. I mean, all the futuristic stuff that was on there was a fantasy, but it wasn't. It was them preparing you for what's coming. And people don't get it now with the self-parking cars and all that. They were doing it slowly. They were adding a button at a time. So now your car can parallel park itself. Eventually it drove itself. You had little nuggets here and there, but because people wouldn't have been ready if they launched it all at once. Now they just sit in the car and it's going to drive itself. Pretty soon you're going to see drones, which are taxi cabs. They have them already that are going to just drop in front of your house, pick you up and take you where you got to go.
Delivery or deliver.
Or even deliver. Well, they're doing it with delivery already. So I believe that everything that the government and news, everything, it's all a distraction for the real thing that's going to come. The real thing that's going to happen is start saving your money now, or whatever, gold, silver, because the world is going to change. Eventually, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's changing. And who knows? It might be one, how do you say that? Money value? What do they call that? One currency.
Yeah.
I speak no English. One currency all over the world, right? So we don't know where it's going. We have a good idea. Just watch futuristic movies and give you a great idea of where it's going.
They're always right, too.
And, what was I just watching? But it's not far off of what's happening. It's like the first 100. Have you seen that on Netflix? It's about the tree people and the land people. It's like after the earth blew up. AI created, a nuclear attack on the world to clean up the world. And all the great, higher ups all went into bunkers and all this good stuff. So anyway, after hundreds of years, these people come back. Now, if you look at history, the world's always had a beginning and an end. Think of the dinosaur age. You know, there was dinosaurs that ended.
Yeah.
You know, there was Noah's Ark, you know, when, you know, they just flooded the world, and people could say that was the ice age after it melted. But whatever it was, I think it was God and saying, oops, you guys are screwing up. I think I'm going to erase y'all. So, you know, you had Noah's Ark. I mean, the world's been flushed out a couple times, meteorites or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the movie is pretty close to what would happen in the future. So what was that with Bruce Willis, The Fifth Element?
Oh, Fifth Element. I love that movie.
Think about it.
I love The Fifth Element.
Think about it. Those shows like that have told us a lot of what's going to happen. Look at all the shows that talked about a major pandemic or this or that. And, you know, people see it as just entertainment, but there's little hints of information in there. But anyway, I don't mean to depress your day, but so that's why it's so important that you enjoy every single day. Make sure that you, where is that button?
They're labeled.
I know. Well, make sure you do this every day. But a lot better.